Folks, welcome into the Crossing Swords post-game report. I am your host, Ty B, joined by Dwayne. The Sabres put up a valiant effort. Were able to get this game into overtime, but not able to get 2 points. Good teams are able to get, they're able to salvage the point even when they play poorly. Dwayne, your thoughts on getting 1 point there in overtime?
Just terrible giveaway in our own end there to lead to the goal. Lafreniere's first goal of his NHL career. Of course, it has to come against Buffalo. Why not? I'm sure Dami Rail.
It's because you've been chirping him the entire time.
Yeah, I kind of came into thinking, I was like, man, I've been giving him shit for the past couple of days. This will be the game where he finally gets on the board. But it was bound to happen sooner or later. And he is the first overall pick. But it was a bad giveaway by Buffalo in their own end. It looks like there was some miscommunication there, and it leads to a 2-on-1, and Lafreniere buries it. Again, a valiant effort. They came in hard in the third period, controlled a lot of the play, and was able to tie the game up and get it into overtime. I tweeted out right before overtime, they really need to get this one, bring this one home because Ullmark has stood on his head that entire game. Mm-hmm. They're outshot dramatically there for a while, and Ullmark made some enormous saves, especially there in the third on the penalty kill. At one point, was doing his best Dominic Hasek impersonation with the wheelbarrow roll save. I know that one didn't get much flex there on the replay, but he definitely made a huge save before that one on the penalty kill. But yeah, like you said, you get the point out of it. That's I guess the silver lining here, and you just move on to your next game.
Absolutely. And speaking about someone who's quite happy right now, we got Domi Hockey with us. Domi, the Rangers were able to hang on and win this one in overtime. Not the best performance, but they did a great job bouncing back against the Sabres from Tuesday night.
I mostly just wanted to come in here to say hi, Dwayne. Did you see what happened in overtime by any chance? I wasn't sure if you caught it. I did. No, I did not get to watch most of the game. Unfortunately, I was recording a podcast, but I've watched most of the highlights. And I will say that I almost punched a hole in my drywall at the end of the first, because that's the last thing I saw when Taylor Hall buried that one. And I was like, son of a... What do we got?
Hey! We got the dancing meatball himself here, Joseph Gonzi Jr. Gonzi, how you feeling? Sabres able to salvage a point out of this one. Obviously not the exact result we want, but they showed some resiliency, some battle back, and some fight.
It was first of all, great hit by Dahlin. Hello, where are you? How are you now? Way to wake up, Ivan Drago. But the bad turnover by Jack Eichel. But I'm going to say, are we going to run him out of town now because he had one bad turnover? No.
Yeah, there was some miscommunication there too. But again, you can't turn the puck over there in overtime, not in 3-on-3. You can't let that happen. Hopefully, Jack's a good enough player, knows what needs to be done there and what needs to be fixed. So I wouldn't expect much of that going forward.
Got an interesting take here from Cole Smith. The Sabres are cup contenders. Dwayne, what are your thoughts on that one, bud?
I'm still sticking with my my prediction last time. Let's go for Florida Stanley Cup, Cole. Buffalo Sports Idiots. I love it.
I don't hate that. I got to be honest with you, because we've talked about it ad nauseum. And Dwayne, I know you said it. You and I talked about it on your podcast, and we've said it 100 times. You're in a position.
Rangers. Go ahead.
Excuse you. I'm going to host here for a second. We're in a position where, considering the fact the season's shortened and condensed, right? And I know we talked about this the other day, where every game's an interdivisional game. I mean, it's basically like every game's worth 4 points. So anything can happen. Realistically, saying the Sabres win the Stanley Cup is not as crazy as it is as saying it last year, is the point I'm leaving it.
No, I think anyone can beat anyone, especially the Sabres have shown it at this point. They can play with pretty much any team. And when you see, what these other teams are doing, no one's really running away with things, especially in this East Division right now. It's a jumbled up mess. One night the Isles are dominating the Rangers, the next night the Rangers dominate the Isles. Anything can happen, and we see that within the NHL in general, there's more parity in this league than any of the other major sports leagues. So you're going to see turnover year after year. The Sabres not making the playoffs for as long as they have is an absolute statistical anomaly. And if they're able to continue it for a 10th year, it'd be even crazier. I like their chances right now where they're at in the standings, Kanzi, to sneak in here to the playoffs.
Well, I think Dwayne said it best the other night that, there's not one team that really scares you, like you said, too, in this division. And you have to pick up points where it matters. And there's definitely going to be, some bloodbath moving forward. But, these teams are starting to kind of pick up pace, catch stride. I think these first couple weeks were like a training camp session for them. And we're really going to see them start to turn it up. Ovechkin's coming back for the Caps now, with Kuznetsov, all those guys. The Sabres are still trying to figure things out, which, by the way, Kyle Okposo looks about 2 steps behind everyone. I think you got to put him back to the taxi squad. I'm sorry. I love the guy. My heart hurts for him, everything he's been through, but I think it's about time for him to go back to the taxi squad, kind of think about where he's going to be down the road, because I understand we're paying him all that money and you got to find a way to use him, but he's 2 steps behind everyone and it's hurting us bad.
Absolutely. And talk about getting hurt. He got hurt there a bit going into the boards on that cross-checking penalty. The Sabres were able to take advantage and score on the power play after they had struggled on the power play early in this game. Dwayne, you think they were listening to us in that second intermission report there, because it seemed like it was clicking immediately?
They must have been pumping the intermission report from Crossing Swords and Two Goalies so much in the locker room, because they definitely I definitely think they were listening. Yeah, and that's going to be the story all season. You have to start winning these special teams battles, especially with that top power play line. I really do think it's the most dangerous line in the entire league. You can't deny the talent on that line. And then obviously you have a guy like Dahlin on the backhand who's gotten better with every single game, and is starting to learn how to use that bigger body of his, as we saw him drop an attitude adjustment there on the board in the third period. John Cena would be proud. Yeah, it's love it. I love it.
Dwayne, we got another comment here for you too, by the way.
Dwayne, I think we could use a real reliable face-off man to really solidify his team.
The suggestion is electric.
Z-Man.
Absolutely
unbelievable.
For a name drop.
I would only take him for his, what do you have, like that chinchilla or whatever, or that rabbit, the bunny he had. He would just be hopping around in his house. That dude was awesome.
Yeah.
That was amazing. I love that. That was the best comment I've seen in a long time.
What a name drop.
Well executed.
Absolutely. It takes a lot to have Dwayne speechless, but it's happening right now.
I had a thought. I had a complete thought that I was going to make, and then Zenon Konopka shows up and just goes
second all-time in career face-off percentage. Can't argue with the stats. It is what it is. But thank you guys for tuning in here with us on the Crossing Swords post-game show. Make sure you keep getting in here with these comments. We'd love to see them, love to share them, especially when we got questions. Put Dwayne on the spot, make him feel the hot seat, put him, right to the burner. It's absolutely what we all live for. But moving forward here, the Sabres are going to have, they're going to have to start playing these teams a couple more times, and they're going to play some more of this division here. Where do you see them going these next few weeks? Do you think they're going to be able to find some consistency here, Dwayne, after this nice little stretch here where they continue to get points, or are we going to see them take a step back and do this same old up and down roller coaster routine we're used to the past few years?
So here's the thing, with it all being divisional play, like, again, there's a lot of parity in this division. So the separation amongst teams isn't going to be that dramatic. You can see it in the standings right now. So every single point does matter. So getting these loser points, albeit it is a loss, it's huge, because the more these teams are losing in regulation, but you're getting but we're over here getting loser points. We're staying right in the thick of things. Like, obviously the Islanders lost tonight. Obviously, the Rangers did get 2 points on us, but we were already ahead of them in the standings, but we did gain a point. So we're still pretty there, just on the outside looking in the top 4. I know it's early to start talking playoffs, but you know what? 56 games, only 8 teams in this division. You really got to literally every single game counts. Every single game.
Yep, and it wasn't a very good performance from this team all around. I think the only guys who really looked good were Ullmark. Reinhart didn't look bad, but besides that, I think it was a bad night from everyone. You look at it statistically, Risto's worst night, McCabe's worst night. But it was sort of that same story all around for this team. I don't know if the Rangers just figured something out between these games or not. I talked about this a little bit in between the periods. I don't know if you Kanzi or Dom want to chime in on this, but the thought of these teams, in the second leg of these back-to-back, sort of figuring things out and being able to shut down the power play early on the Sabres, where they had a lot of success on Tuesday night.
I think you're definitely onto something with that, which is, we talked about it a little bit on a couple of pods and just in general before the season even started, where you have so many different things that are going to happen when you play teams this often, especially as frequently. Like, you have the Battle of Alberta 4 games in a row. Like, yeah, that's one of the most exciting matchups in hockey, but at the same time, after the second or third game, there's going to be a little bit of shine's going to wear off, especially when you start to figure out everybody's strategy. Like, it's not a regular season where you play X teams however many times. Like, the Rangers got to play the Bruins 8 times. You know what I mean? Yep. Like, you're going to learn so much in 8 games, especially not only playing against them, but you're going to have to play against teams that play against them also. It's The whole thing is crazy. I mean, it's one of those things where you never know what's really going to happen. But I don't know. I think you're onto something where you're going to see, like, the next matchup the Rangers and the Sabres have is going to be even crazier.
I think for Ty, I think for me though, the big thing that I wanted to address here was these grind games. Grinding it out. They might look bad, but they're still in it. And I think that's the thing with the Sabres tonight, was they might have played poorly early on, but they were still in it. And I think we want to see that from this team. We've seen everything from a 10-game win streak falling flat on their face to falling flat on their face and falling back flat on their face. So, like, tonight was more of a barometer for me to know that, like, this team has a system in place, I think, where I think they can grind it out and kind of get things going. So I'm excited to see what happens, in the next 2 weeks. I break the season up in 2-week chunks. I give them 2 weeks to kind of see where they're going to be. So I give them another 2 weeks to see where they're at.
I think
Kanzi, I like that.
Yeah. I think the biggest point to be made here too is, there's been a lot of questions surrounding Ullmark, even with a couple of the wins he did get us, letting a few soft ones in here there. We got a point tonight strictly because of Linus Ullmark. Okay. Only because of Linus Ullmark.
When's the last time, Dwayne, real quick, when's the last time we had a goaltender steal us a game, like keep us in it?
Yeah, it's been a while, probably since the hot streak from early last season, when even Carter Hutton was doing it back then for us. You need your goalies to win you points here, and that's exactly what happened here. I think, I'm not saying it answers the question, like, oh, we finally found our franchise goalie, but you know what? He did prove tonight that he can be relied on to win us games when we're not at our best, and 100% that's what he did tonight.
Oh, absolutely. And we need some consistent goaltending. We're getting some consistent play in front of them. We didn't see that tonight, but finally we have above average goaltending, and it brings up that below average play, which is exactly what you need some nights. The NHL, it's tough to be consistent night in and night out. It's a very taxing game on your body throughout the season, especially the way they're going right now, playing pretty much every other day. Thankfully, their travel schedule, I think, is a little bit easier than it would be in a regular season. Not the far distances and not having to go to their different cities and back-to-backs. That's a little nicer, but obviously it's never easy, getting into this, especially after the off season they had. So, now I think we're going to see these teams really starting to figure things out, right, Tommy?
Yeah, I think so. And it's going to be interesting where right now I feel like we've beaten this horse just so dead, but you don't have much time to figure it out. Like, there was no training camp. Essentially, there was no preseason. You got to figure it out now. That way you're in a position to play. The season's supposed to end the beginning of May. You got to be playing meaningful hockey in April. You know what I mean? Like, so I think it's kind of be a team. We're in that position now. Kanzi says, like, oh, 2 weeks. We're in a position now where over the next couple maybe week and a half, like, we're going to start to shake down. Like, I don't think this is going to be a year where people go on this crazy run and get in the playoffs like 2 or 3 weeks before the season's over. I think we're going to end up starting to see, like, there might be 1 or 2 teams, but I think we're going to get an idea what the playoffs looks like really soon.
No, I think that's exactly it. And that's why Katz, I think, is saying good. He knew we were going to start talking about the playoffs, and his Islanders are on the outside looking in right now. Can't figure anything out.
Last place, baby.
Wait, Dom, you know what the Islanders need right now? Andy freaking Sutton.
Andy Sutton.
Andy Sutton.
Listen, oh my God. Dewey Crocs. Yeah, Islanders, they suck. They're a bunch of losers. You're a bunch of losers. You think you can steal Dwayne's bagels? You can't steal Dwayne's bagels, Cat, because you suck, brother. You suck.
Gotta get a bacon, egg, and cheese on everything.
Dude, don't hate on the bacon, egg, and cheese, bro.
I don't. That's why I said bacon, egg, and cheese. That's gotta be the go-to.
Took a turn for the worse.
Is not the bacon, egg, and cheese on an everything bagel is the official sandwich of the state of New York.
You wait till 3 o'clock in the morning tonight when Dwayne wakes up out of a dead cold sleep. He's gonna get on the iPhone in the group chat and he's gonna tell you all about how much the Islanders suck.
You sound like an Irish Long Island guy with peanut butter on the roof of his mouth. Honestly,
yeah, he does not sound. He does not sound like he lives in the city or was born in the city of New York.
Wow, 3-4, Catsy. That's looking rough.
Oof.
Oh, wow. Hate to hear that. Maybe Cat's got out of here.
Well, he probably did. Well, you know what? He probably looked at the clock and forgot what time it was and realized
he had to go check his air fryer.
All right, folks. You see the wheels starting to fall off the train here. So that's
right around the 17-minute mark every time.
That's gonna wrap it up here on the Crossing Swords post-game report. Hopefully everyone tunes in. We're going to be doing this throughout most of the season. Cat's out there. He loves his air fryer. We know you make more time for your air fryer than your friends. But it is what it is.
Why you go take that air fryer, Cat?
Oh my God!
All right, folks, make sure you go out there. Go hammer those AMC stocks. Go hammer those Nokia stocks. Go hammer that GameStop. Go crush the hedge funds tomorrow. Get back out there. Don't let them stop. We're going to the moon. Hey, cheers, boys.
Cheers, babe.
To hockey being back and having some excitement with the boys. I know, Dom, you're not going to say it, but let's go, Buffalo.
No, I'll say it. Let's go. But who are they playing next?